The quiet before the storm, the galaxy, was wide and endless, filled with stars that burned for millions of years. Yet in one corner of this endless sky, humanity lived quietly, building their homes, their ships, and their future. Humans were new. Compared to the old races of the galaxy, the Threx, the Zorik, the Velari, these alien empires had ruled space for thousands of years. And to them, humans were nothing more than curious animals who had learned to stand on two legs and fly ships. For years, humans tried to live in peace. They built colonies on dead moons, mined asteroids, and traded food and technology with smaller species. They kept their heads low and avoided trouble. Because the bigger powers laughed whenever humans tried to speak at the Galactic Council. The Council was a great hall orbiting a dying red star. Inside it, the strongest races decided laws, wars, and trade. When the humans asked for fair routes and protection for their colonies, the alien leaders smirked and whispered among themselves, "These humans are weak, too emotional, too fragile. They will never be a threat." Still, humanity endured. They sent doctors to help planets after plagues. They sent engineers to repair broken reactors. They worked hard and stayed quiet. But patience has limits, and the galaxy was about to learn that truth. It began with a single freighter, a small cargo ship called Morning Star. It carried grain and water to a human colony on the edge of space. Its crew was simple people, farmers' children, traders, and one old captain who had flown ships for 30 years. They had no weapons, only cargo. When the alien patrol ship appeared, the humans first felt relief. Maybe it was a safety check. Maybe it was help. But they were wrong. The alien ship belonged to the Vexari, a cruel race known for their sharp teeth and sharper cruelty. The Vexari commander hailed the Morning Star with a mocking grin. "Weak humans, pay tribute or lose your ship," he said, his voice cruel and filled with laughter. The human captain answered calmly, "We are only traders. We mean no harm. We carry food for families. Let us pass." But the Vexari only laughed harder, their cannons aimed at the freighter. "You exist because we allow it," the alien said. "Never forget that, human." The crew trembled, but the captain kept his voice strong. "We will not fight you, but we will not kneel," he said. And with that he sent out a coded distress signal, one used only in the darkest of hours. The signal spread like a whisper through the stars, across satellites and relay stations, across colonies and fleets. Every human ear that heard it went cold, because the code meant only one thing: provocation. The Morning Star was boarded, its crew beaten and humiliated, the grain stolen, the water dumped into the void. The captain's last words before the signal cut off were filled with pain and warning. "Remember this. They have gone too far." Back on Earth, the signal arrived late at night. In the quiet halls of the United Human Command, generals, admirals, and leaders gathered, their faces pale. They had begged the Council for years to stop such attacks, and the Council had laughed. Now there was no laughter left, only silence. On the colonies, families wept as they heard of the freighter's fate. Fathers clenched their fists, mothers held their children close, workers in the mines swore revenge, and soldiers in the fleet whispered one word: war. But humanity did not move too fast. They remembered their history. Patience, planning, and timing had saved them before. And so in silence, they began to prepare. Ships were upgraded, weapons polished, hidden fleets built in the dark corners of space. The aliens still laughed. In their taverns, they told jokes about fragile humans. In their councils, they ignored warnings. In their ships, they mocked the weakness of Earth's people. But deep inside, a storm was forming. The quiet before the storm is always the most dangerous, because silence hides the anger, and laughter hides the fear the aliens had made their choice. They had mocked, humiliated, and provoked. Soon they would learn the lesson written in blood and fire. For now, the galaxy remained calm. The stars still burned, the ships still moved, but whispers of the morning star spread in every shadow. And wherever humans gathered, from the smallest asteroid mine to the grand halls of Earth, the message was the same. We warned them. Now they will see. Asterisk the first spark. The destruction of the morning star was not forgotten. It burned in every human heart like a hidden flame. The galaxy thought humanity would bow, that they would mourn in silence and move on. But humans were not built to forget. They carried memory like a blade waiting to be drawn. The Galactic Council met days later, a chamber full of color and sound, alien voices rising and falling. Each species speaking of trade, borders, and power. When the human ambassador walked to the center, the hall grew quiet, his face pale but his eyes sharp. He raised the data crystal showing the attack, the screams of the crew, the mocking laugh of the Vexery commander. The moment grain and water, meant for starving children, were thrown into space. The chamber echoed with the recording, and when it ended, silence pressed heavy on every throat. The human ambassador's voice cut through the silence, slow and steady. This is not the first time, but it will be the last. We ask this council, will you punish the Vexery, or will you let them provoke us again? Laughter followed, cruel and sharp. A dozen alien leaders sneered. The Zorak Chancellor leaned forward. You humans speak of punishment, but you have no teeth. Do not threaten powers greater than you. The Valari delegate waved a jeweled hand. You are children in a galaxy of kings. Be silent. Your cries are nothing but noise. The human stood there, his jaw tight, his hands clenched behind his back. Then he spoke the words that froze even those who mocked. You mistake patience for weakness, and silence for fear. Provoke us again, and you will see what it means. To awaken humanity's fire, the council laughed louder, some even jeered. But deep inside their laughter, there was a flicker of unease. Back on the colonies, anger grew like a storm. Miners whispered in the tunnels. Soldiers sharpened their blades. Engineers worked through sleepless nights to build ships faster, bigger, deadlier. The loss of the Morning Star became a story told to children, to farmers, to pilots. Never forget, they said. Never forgive. The Vexery, blinded by arrogance, did not stop. Their patrols pushed deeper into human space. Another freighter vanished. A colony transport was boarded and stripped. Refugees poured into safe stations with tales of cruelty. Mothers crying, fathers swearing vengeance. One night, in a small colony tavern on Titan's moon, a fight broke out between human workers and alien traders. The traders mocked the Morning Star, calling the crew cowards. In seconds, fists flew. Knives flashed, and blood stained the floor. A spark lit the fire. News of the fight traveled fast. Humans were no longer silent, no longer calm on Mars. Thousands marched with signs carved in steel. Protect our own. Never again. Answer them. On Earth, military academies filled with new recruits. The young demanded to serve. The old demanded to fight in the shadow of Neptune. Hidden in a black hangar carved into ice, a fleet began to awaken. Ships without names, armed with weapons no alien had seen before. Railguns the size of cities, plasma cannons humming with deadly light. Human commanders walked among them, their voices steady. We do not start wars, but we end them. Aliens laughed in their palaces, but their laughter began to crack. Whispers reached even their worlds. Humans are gathering. Humans are building. Humans are waiting. On a lonely asteroid station, a Vexery captain captured another human ship. He sent a broadcast across the stars, mocking humans once again. This is your place on your knees, begging, weak, he laughed. But he did not notice the silent human ship watching from the dark, cloaked, waiting, its guns ready. For the first time, humanity struck back. The Vexery ship exploded in a storm of light. No warning, no mercy, only silence after the fire. The survivors whispered one truth: humans had changed. They were no longer prey. The galaxy had seen the first spark, and soon the fire would spread. Asterisk. The broken line, the galaxy, thought the human strike on the Vexury patrol was only a shadow, a small accident, something to be dismissed. But they were wrong. It was the first crack in a dam that could no longer hold. Word spread like fire and dry. Grass whispers in marketplaces, quiet talks in military halls. The humans fought back, they said. A Vexury warship destroyed in one shot. The arrogant laughter of aliens began to fade, replaced by unease. The Galactic Council tried to calm the storm, their voices hollow in the great chamber. One ship is nothing. The humans are too small, too fragile. They cannot fight a real war. But deep down, some of them were no longer sure. On Earth, the signal was different. The moment the Vexury wreck drifted in silence, the line was broken. Humanity's patience was gone. The colonies rose together, no longer divided by distance or class. On Mars, miners who once carried drills now carried rifles. On Titan, farmers turned their cargo haulers into armored carriers. On Earth's oceans, shipyards blazed with light day and night, welding steel into the bones of new warships. The faces of the Morning Star crew became holy. Posters, banners, even murals painted on colony walls showed their faces. The words beneath them were always the same: never provoked again. Meanwhile, the Vexury grew restless. Their leaders mocked humanity, calling them little fireflies that would soon be crushed. Yet their patrols began to vanish one after another. Ships sent to the border never returned. The truth was hidden in the black of space. Human fleets were gathering. But these were not the fleets the galaxy knew. These were ships born from desperation and brilliance. Warships built in secret caves on moons. Carriers forged in asteroid belts. Machines designed not to match alien fleets, but to outsmart them. In the silence of space, commanders whispered to their crews, "This is no longer defense. This is the answer." The first true battle came at Corin's Belt, a trade route guarded by alien warships. The Vexury intercepted a human convoy, certain they would crush it. But from the darkness behind the asteroids came shapes the galaxy had never seen. Human cruisers with black hulls and railguns that fired slugs faster than light. The battle lasted 7 minutes. The Vexury ships were torn apart, their wrecks burning bright against the belt's frozen rocks. The galaxy gasped. This was no accident. This was war. The Galactic Council met again, voices raised in anger. The Zorax slammed their way, claws on the table. "The humans must be stopped," the Velari hissed. "They are breaking the order of the galaxy." But others whispered quietly, "Perhaps we provoked them too far." Back in human space, the mood had changed forever. No one called them weak anymore. No one mocked them openly. Because the broken line meant only one thing: humanity was awake. The colonies held ceremonies, bells rang, torches burned in the night sky. Every voice repeated the same oath: "We will never kneel again." But the greatest fear among the aliens was not the battles won. It was the silence between them, because humans did not boast. They did not send endless messages of victory. They fought, they vanished, and they prepared for more. The storm was building, and every alien leader felt it, like thunder in the bones. Something vast and unstoppable was coming. The broken line was not just about ships or borders. It was about spirit. A spirit the galaxy had never understood. Humans could endure anything. They could suffer. They could bleed. But once their line was crossed, they became something else, something terrifying. The galaxy had mocked them for being small, but now they would learn what small things could do when pushed too far. The broken line had been crossed, and soon the galaxy would burn for it. Shadows in space. The galaxy had grown uneasy. Whispers of human fleets moving in the dark reached every corner, but no one could prove it. The aliens told themselves the stories were lies, exaggerations, illusions. Born from fear, But then the shadows began to move. A Valari outpost drifted above a gas giant, its towers glowing with crystal light. One night the outpost simply vanished, no distress call, no warning, only wreckage scattered like ash across the planet's storm winds. Days later, a Zorak carrier was found torn in half, its crew gone, its engines cut with precision strikes. The Council tried to hide it, but rumors spread faster than truth. The humans are here, voices whispered. They strike from the shadows, in the deep silence of space. Humanity had become something new, no longer traders, no longer dreamers. They had turned into hunters, their ships painted black, their weapons silent until the moment of fire, their fleets moving without a trace. To the aliens, it was like fighting. Ghosts, patrols disappeared, convoys turned to wreckage, bases burned before reinforcements arrived. There were no grand speeches, no threats, only the sudden silence after destruction. On Mars, commanders stood in dim-lit rooms, staring at holograms of alien fleets, their voices steady. We will not fight them in the open. We will strike from the shadows, lead them until they beg for mercy. The crews answered with one word: understood. The galaxy had laughed at human patience, but they had never understood human rage. It was not loud. It was not reckless. It was cold, sharp, and patient. Like a knife sliding between armor plates, the Vexari felt it first, their proud warbands cut down one by one. Once they mocked humans as prey, now their ships traveled in groups. Even then they were not safe. Shadows followed them, and shadows destroyed them. In a distant star system, a Council envoy ship drifted, carrying messages of peace. Suddenly, alarms screamed, railgun rounds ripped through their escorts. Human ships decloaked from the dark, sleek, silent, merciless. The envoy sent one last message before vanishing into fire. They are everywhere. Nowhere is safe. Back in the Council chamber, the laughter was gone. Leaders whispered, their eyes darting to the empty human seat. The Zorak slammed a claw against the table. They defy us. They strike without honor. The Valari hissed. They are beasts in the night. But no one laughed, because fear had taken root. On Earth, the people no longer wept for the morning star. They no longer begged for help from others. They had become steel, the colonies. Roared with unity, every hand working, every mind building, a single purpose guiding them: vengeance. The alien races, once so proud, began to feel the truth in their bones, that humanity was not a small flame to be mocked, but a fire spreading through the dark, unseen, unstoppable. A Threx general spoke quietly to his council. We should have listened, they warned us. And now the shadows belong to them. His words echoed what many feared, but dared not say. In the void of space, human fleets drifted silent. Waiting for the next strike, commanders watched stars without speaking, knowing the time was near. Soon the shadows would no longer hide. Soon the storm would arrive in full. The galaxy had awakened something it did not understand, and every day of silence, every night of missing ships, was a reminder of the truth. Humanity had become the shadow in space, and the galaxy could not escape. Asterisk. Humanity's answer: the galaxy could no longer deny it. Human shadows had struck too many times, too many fleets gone, too many outposts reduced to silence. The Council sat in fear, voices rising in anger, but all their noise could not hide the truth. The balance had shifted. For weeks, no one had seen a single human ambassador. Their seat in the chamber sat empty, the flag of Earth still standing, silent, accusing. Then one day, the seat was filled. A single man in a dark uniform walked into the hall, his steps steady, his eyes unshaken. He carried no guards, no weapons, only a single message crystal. When he reached the center, he placed it on the table, his voice calm but sharp. You laughed at our pain. You mocked our warnings. You provoked us again and again. Now you will hear humanity's answer. The crystal glowed, filling the chamber with images, Alien warships burning in silence. Vexery carriers split in half. Zorak patrols erased from the stars. Every image a wound to the Council's pride. Every image proof that the shadows belong to humans. The man spoke again, his words heavy like iron. We do not seek war, but we will never kneel. We will never forget, and we will never stop. If you wish to end this, pull back your fleets, leave our people in peace. If not, then the storm will not end until your stars grow dark. The chamber erupted. Some shouted in rage, others in fear. But for the first time, no one laughed, because every leader saw it in the human's eyes. He was not bluffing. Outside the council, the truth arrived like thunder. Human fleets revealed themselves. Not shadows, not whispers, but full force. Colossal warships drifting from the void, their hulls black, their guns glowing, their engines like fire. One ship appeared above a Valari world, so vast it blocked the sunlight for an hour. The people below stared at the sky in terror. Never had they seen such power. The galaxy had known human ships before small freighters. Weak escorts, fragile science vessels, but this was different. These were war machines, built in silence, born in shadows, carrying weapons no alien had imagined. On Mars, commanders broadcast the message across every channel, to every system, every fleet. We are done hiding. We are done waiting. This is our answer, the first. Strike came at the Drano sector, a fortress long considered untouchable. Guarded by fleets from 3 alien empires, the sky above Dranos turned into fire. Railgun rounds ripped through ships. Plasma storms lit the void. Within 1 hour, the fortress was gone. Nothing left but silence. Alien generals trembled. Some demanded to unite against humans. Others whispered that it was already too late, that humanity's fire could not be stopped. But the most chilling thing was not the destruction. It was how humanity carried it out. No cruelty, no needless slaughter. They targeted fleets, weapons, and fortresses, always striking with precision, always sending the same message afterward. Do not provoke us again. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy's proud empires felt powerless. The hunters had become prey. The rulers had become the ruled in human space. The colonies wept not with sorrow, but with pride. Every worker, every soldier, every family whispered the same words. This is our answer. They will never break us again. Above Earth, the largest human fleet ever built gathered, rows of carriers, destroyers, and battleships stretching across the orbit like a steel crown. And at the center, the great supercarrier Eternal Dawn, a ship so vast it could house entire cities, its shadow falling across the blue planet below. The galaxy had asked for humanity's answer, and now it echoed across the stars. A storm of steel, fire, and unyielding will. Asterisk the day of fire. The galaxy had waited in fear, whispers echoing in every council chamber, in every marketplace, in every barrack. The humans have awakened, they said, and they are coming. But no whisper could prepare them for the truth. It began in the Corran expanse, where fleets of 3 alien empires had gathered. They thought their combined power would crush the humans. Their armadas stretched across the stars, thousands of ships shining like a wall of steel. They believed they were untouchable. Then the shadows parted, and humanity arrived. The Eternal Dawn led the way, the massive human supercarrier, emerging from the dark like a world forged of iron. Its hull blocked out suns. Its guns burned brighter than stars. Around it, hundreds of human warships drifted into formation, silent, waiting, like wolves around their alpha. For a heartbeat, the galaxy held its breath. Then fire rained, human railguns thundered, each round tearing through alien shields like paper, plasma. Storms roared, lighting the void with blue fire. Drones swarmed from the Eternal Dawn like angry hornets, cutting through ships faster than the eye could follow. The battle that was meant to last days ended in less than an hour. Alien fleets shattered, Fortresses crumbled. Escape pods scattered like sparks, but even those were not safe. For humanity had learned in silence, learned in suffering, and they wasted nothing. Alien commanders screamed over comms, their voices filled with disbelief. This cannot be. Their weapons too strong. Their tactics too precise. But it was not magic. It was humanity. Humans had studied every alien ship, every tactic, every weakness. While the galaxy laughed, humans prepared. Now the joke was burned into silence across the galaxy. Other battles erupted at Velari Prime, their sky lit with fire as human destroyers cut through their fleets. On the Zorak homeworld, their proud armada was reduced to burning wrecks. Even the Vexari, once so arrogant, begged for reinforcements that never came. The storm had come, and no one could stand against it. On Earth, the people watched the broadcasts in silence, not cheering, not celebrating, their eyes heavy with pride and sorrow, because humanity had not wanted this war. But now that it had begun, they would end it. Alien citizens trembled as the night skies of their worlds turned red with flames. For the first time in history, the galaxy's strongest felt powerless. Their walls broken, their fleets scattered, their arrogance turned to ashes. And yet, through all the fire, one truth stood out: humanity did not strike blindly. They targeted war fleets, military hubs, and fortresses. They avoided civilians. When possible, they showed restraint even in vengeance, and that restraint terrified the galaxy even more. Because if this was humanity holding back, what would it look like if they let go? In the council chamber, panic ruled, leaders shouted, begged, argued, their voices shaking. Some called for surrender. Others demanded total war, but deep down, they knew the truth: no fleet, no alliance, no coalition could stop what was burning across the stars, on the battlefield above Corin Expanse. As the last alien warship exploded, the human commander stood on the bridge of the eternal dawn, his voice calm as he gave the order heard across every human ship. Enough for today, let them remember. The stars burned with wreckage, the galaxy shook in fear, and every world understood the message. This was not defense anymore. This was not survival. This was the day of fire. The day humanity showed what happens when they are provoked too far. Asterisk. The lesson carved in stars: the galaxy burned. Wreckage drifted in the void. Fleets shattered. Fortresses gone. Every alien empire had felt humanity's fire. Yet the war did not continue endlessly. The humans stopped, their ships holding position. Silent guardians in the dark, the council met in terror. Their once proud voices now broken whispers. The Zorak chancellor slammed his claws on the table, but his hands trembled. "We must strike back," he growled. Yet no one answered, because everyone knew the truth. There was nothing left strong enough to strike with. The Velari queen bowed her jeweled head, her voice soft for the first time. "We cannot fight them. We will beg if we must, or we will vanish into ash." Across the chamber, the human ambassador returned. He walked calmly. No guards, no weapons, only silence behind him. The leaders stared as he raised his voice, cold and steady. "We told you not to provoke us, you mocked. You ignored. You laughed. Now you have seen our fire. Do you understand your mistake?" No one laughed. No one mocked. Every alien eye was lowered, their pride broken, their arrogance shattered. The ambassador's voice echoed, "We are not monsters. We are not conquerors. We asked for peace, and you gave us war. But know this, the lesson is written now, carved into your stars. Humanity will not kneel. Humanity will not break, and humanity must never be provoked again." His words traveled farther than the chamber. They spread through every channel, every fleet, every world. Alien citizens listened in silence. Some wept, others trembled, because the truth was now carved into their bones. On the battlefield, wrecks still floated, The eternal dawn cast its shadow across broken fleets, its guns still glowing, but it did not fire. Instead, the great ship turned slowly, leading the human armada back toward their borders. A warning stronger than any weapon. Alien children grew up staring at the night sky, their parents whispering stories. Those stars belong to humans now. Do not cross them. Do not provoke them. On Earth, bells rang, not in victory, but in mourning, for the lives lost, for the innocence broken, yet also in pride, because humanity had stood together against the galaxy and endured. The galaxy's rulers wrote new laws in fear. Borders were redrawn, fleets recalled. No one dared send raiders into human space again. The lesson was clear, and it would never be forgotten. The day aliens learned why humanity should never be provoked was not just one day of fire. It was the day a new truth was carved across the stars, a truth that every species would carry in their hearts forever. The humans had been mocked as weak, dismissed as fragile, but now the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity was patient, but not powerless, forgiving, but not forgetful, kind, but never weak. And above it all, one warning echoed through the void, carved deeper than scars. Do not provoke us again, asterisk.